And welcome to another episode of JP and the Beanstalk. I'm your host, Riley, with co-host as always, JP.
JP right here. Yo. Let's do it.
We're on, episode 5. We're rolling, man.
Before we know it, we're going to be in double digits, wildly famous.
Yes, and crying because
Probably.
of all the money we're getting.
You can't stop weeping when you're
Because
that
of
happy.
all the ads.
Oh,
that
man.
ad revenue we're making.
They're coming. I think
Yes.
it's just by podcast number 10. It's here.
We just need to start.
Nice product placement.
Yes,
That's great.
thank you.
Here I am, propping up
Yes.
mason jars, and
Well,
you've
yeah.
actually got a legit opportunity.
Sponsors. Sponsor me. Yeah, we'll get sponsored by Ball Masonry. Mason Jarry.
You know they're looking for fresh sponsors.
Yes, absolutely. And then Dr. Pepper, of course.
We're in. We got it.
But today we're kicking off with X-Men 2.
You bet.
That one didn't have a fancy, little extended part of the name, did it? Was it just X2?
It was like X2, I feel like it was X-Men United.
Oh, it was.
X-Men 3, the fancy little tagline was
Last
The Last Stand. X-Men was just X-Men. It was enough at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, X-Men United or something along those lines.
Well, because now we're getting away from the 2, 3s. I don't know if you've noticed that, but the new Black Panther movie came out with Wakanda Forever. The second Captain
Good
Marvel movie.
observation. Right.
It's called The Marvels.
Yeah.
So,
Even like Captain America, right? That was Captain America Winter Soldier.
then
Captain
it's
America
called Civil War.
Yep. Was Iron Man, was that the last?
I think so, honestly.
I think it was, because that was just a straight
Iron Man
2, Iron Man 3,
3.
but then the Thor movies, the Captain America movies,
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Good catch on your part.
Well, Guardians, you could make the argument.
That's
volume
true.
1,
They've
volume
gone
2.
Volume, okay.
But volume
Okay.
is different than part. I prefer volume anyways.
Hard
It
not to.
sounds better.
It does sound better.
So, I'll let you kick it off with X-Men 2.
Yeah, so X2, this movie, I have a real strong memory of seeing in the theater, and that opening scene with Nightcrawler. Listen, we're going to have to talk about what we think our top movie scene fights are, but that scene was perfect. Perfect.
It was really good.
It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And what a banger of a scene to start with. It perfectly encapsulates the capabilities of that character.
Oh, yeah.
Immediately, I went into this mode of, I wish I could teleport. There's all these awesome abilities that superheroes have, particularly in this movie. That's the one I would choose.
Oh, teleportation is sick.
Oh, incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. So loved that, and like I said, distinctly remember sitting in the movie theater watching that scene and my jaw just on the ground.
Well, and for
incredible.
And for X-Men fans, that was a big twist right off the get-go.
Sure.
Because,
Sure.
Nightcrawler's such a good dude. He's always an X-Men, and then all of a sudden, he's trying to kill the president. Which,
right, it's like, this.
That's a bold statement right off the bat.
Yep.
You know what?
Yep.
Out of all the evil things I could do, I'm attacking the president.
Just going right after him. Right
Who,
after
by
him, from
the
top.
way, looks weirdly like Richard Nixon.
Looks more like Richard Nixon than any other president. There's a lot of truth in that. Yeah. So I thought that opening scene was fantastic. I want to circle back to our top fight scenes.
Yes.
But I think this movie, so it came out in 2003. That's older than I thought it was. But at the same time, I think,
The first one was 2000, wasn't it?
Yep. So 2003, it still holds up really well. I
for
like
sure.
the practical effects in the movie. There's not much of a reliance on CGI, aside from the obvious knives coming out of friggin' Wolverine's hands.
Obviously.
But no, for the most part, a lot of great practical stunts, combat, insane. The fight with Wolverine just has awesome scenes in this movie.
Oh yeah, he
awesome
takes the cake.
Incredible. When he's wrecking the what do you want to call it? The private army of William Stryker in the school.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Amazing.
His fight with Lady Deathstrike is fantastic.
Yes, incredible. So here's what's weird. The story of the movie is good.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. I don't really have, for as much as with superhero movies, I often grab onto threads of a story and go, man, that's why I love that movie. I just really enjoy the action in this movie.
It's a good action movie.
It's great.
Like,
It's really great.
the plot's okay. For sure. I wish, I don't know, maybe Stryker could have killed off a few mutants or something. I don't know what I'm saying.
Who's to say?
Exactly.
Who's to say?
But
yeah, this was easily the pinnacle. Not that there was much of a progression, but this was easily the pinnacle of the X-Men franchise.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it was so good. It set up what should have been a great payoff in X-Men 3.
Yep.
With setting up the Phoenix Saga, and we don't need to get into why that didn't pan out.
But Days of Future Past was fantastic.
Days of Future Past was really good.
That was the last good X-Men movie.
I really enjoyed the new X-Men movies. I liked Apocalypse. Did you like Apocalypse?
It was okay.
It was okay. Okay.
And I love Apocalypse, so I just wish he would have been more badass.
Fair enough.
But that's my opinion.
I'm not sure there's been a lot of really good comic book character castings. Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, that might be at the top.
I think Michael Fassbender as Magneto is easily one of the up there too.
It's good.
I mean,
good.
I like the newer X-Men trilogy because of Michael Fassbender.
Yeah.
So
he's insane.
And the people they originally casted for Professor X and Magneto was fantastic casting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart.
Yep. They crushed it. I think the holy trinity of comic book casting is Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, because I just don't think there's another person that could play that character.
Oh, no, I don't think so either.
But I think the same thing with Wolverine. And then I would say Christian Bale as Batman.
Okay.
/ Bruce Wayne.
I'm not gonna fight that because I agree with you. I think he's been the best.
Yep.
I think he's been the best Batman. Maybe not the best Bruce Wayne.
Who would you go with best Bruce Wayne?
I don't know. I haven't watched enough of the other Batman movies.
I'll spoil
to be honest.
It's Christian Bale.
Is it?
It's Christian Bale.
Well, okay, let's be real. You don't watch Batman movies to see Bruce Wayne go and talk to rich women.
No. You see it for the Batman. You see it for that
exactly.
guy. That's what you're going for. So, to bring it back to X2, Hugh Jackman's casting is terrific. To your point, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, tremendous as well.
For sure.
It's such a great action movie and was such a tease, even still, like 18 years later, of how good the X-Men movies can be. And that's not entirely fair because, to your point, the new X-Men trilogy, I think, was legitimately really good. Now, I also think it bolstered itself by using a lot of the same characters, like going in the past with Magneto, with Professor Xavier.
It was their soft reboot of the X-Men movies.
Yep. But we just haven't... Why haven't we gotten the X-Men movies right? Like, what's the deal?
I think when you're going into the X-Men, the biggest thing is there are so many characters to choose from that it can get overwhelming at some points.
True.
And instead of, I think it's hard to pinpoint who you want to focus on. Because, for me, this is how I would do it. This is how I hope the MCU does it, okay?
Let's hear it.
It's first class in a sense, but it focuses on the first 5. So we get Beast, we get Iceman, Cyclops, Angel, Jean Grey. I think that should just be the start. We focus on those 5, and then we watch them recruit other heroes.
Right.
And then and then you see that second big team, I should say, which it was mutants from all over the world to get that worldly vibe. So that's when Storm comes in, that's when Wolverine comes in, that's when Banshee comes in, that's when Nightcrawler comes in. Did I say Nightcrawler? I don't think I did.
No.
Colossus comes in. So and then you get to be like, oh, so mutants just isn't the United States.
Yeah.
Okay? Because then you branch off into the world, and then that's when you can start throwing in, like, X-Force and, like... Because then you could break down movies in this way.
I mean, it's its own... You could almost make it its own universe, which is kind of the point of these movies at this point. There were no other... There were no other superheroes related to the Marvel Universe tied into the X-Men universe. It was exclusively X-Men, heroes and villains.
And that's when you could do, too, where you could be like, okay, well, we're going to have X-Men Gold come out this year.
Right.
And then we'll have X-Men Blue come out this next year, and then they'll cross over into your Avengers movie, and they're fighting on a big threat like Apocalypse.
Yep.
Because X-Men, too, they also have a crap ton of villains to choose from, too. So, I mean, I think that's probably the struggle with X-Men, because if you think about it, they introduce Nightcrawler into X2, and then they completely leave him out and don't talk about him in the third one. Colossus shows up in X-Men 2 for like 5 minutes and turns to steel and then leaves.
Phenomenal tease.
And by the way, doesn't have a Russian accent. Can we talk about that? That's a key point to the character.
How do you do that without the Russian accent? Because it's such a cool aspect of the character. It's like, nah, we're good without it.
Yeah, he's like,
Why?
Hey, I can help. He's like, no, help the kids. Okay. Done. We don't see Colossus for the rest of the movie. And then they teased Kitty Pryde in that movie, too.
Yeah.
Where she just phased through a bunch of crap. And Kitty Pryde's an essential X-Men character. Like,
totally different actress, by the way.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Totally different actress.
Because wasn't it Ellen... Well, not Elliot Page.
Yes.
I believe that was who it was.
Yes.
And Iceman is probably my favorite X-Men character, and I still don't think he's been done justice in the movies.
That's fair.
Like, he had some cool scenes in X3, right. But other than that, I was like, dang. Because Pyro would have been cool to see, like, fleshed out. Sure. I mean, we got Blob in First Class. That was... no, X-Men Origins. It was X-Men Origins Blob showed up. That's cool.
Oh gosh, that's right. That's right.
So, I mean... I think that's the main issue. Apocalypse is probably one of my favorite Marvel villains altogether, and sure. I wish she would have been more badass. But if you redo it and have Apocalypse give Angel his wings back and watch Angel turn into Archangel, that would be fantastic. And also, we've never had a live-action Gambit and Rogue. I think they could have fleshed Rogue out more. I think that's the problem with X-Men. There's just so many characters to choose from, you just don't know where to go.
You need patience because of all those characters. Yes. You need to not try and get them all in at once, because there's no need.
Build them up like they do in the MCU. Build them up like that.
Right, like that's exactly right. The MCU has taken an exclusive set of their characters, fleshed them out for a solid decade, and now they're like, all right, on to the next wave. And so you're the X-Men franchise. You've got a huge cast of characters that each bring their own flavor, their own strengths, weaknesses, flaws. Why are we rushing through this? Why are we killing them off so fast? Why are we just bringing them into a movie and then not?
You know how dope
Nightcrawler?
Yeah, exactly. You know how dope it would be to see Black Panther next to Storm in the movies, and we won't get it because of Chadwick, rest in peace. Which that's one of the most sad things.
Yeah.
But there's so many characters. Like, yeah, that right there.
I was waiting for the guy that played Colossus. Like, could this guy not pull off a Russian accent?
He looks like he could.
He's born in British Columbia. Surely, I mean, he's a North-born individual. He's from friggin' Canada.
I did like the guy who played Beast too, and Beast only shows up in the third one. Like, I think that's it. I think we figured it out.
Could have done better there.
I think we just...
Could have done better.
I think we narrowed down what the X-Men movie problem is. And I think, and that's why I think the MCU will do so well with it.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like, did you ever watch the X-Men 90s cartoon at all? That's the X-Men I grew up with. Yeah. And from what I remember, it was good.
Yeah. I'd be willing to get back into it, but no, I can't.
It's on Disney Plus.
I
might actually. I think I'm going to watch that all the way through at some point.
It'd be a good thing to get into. I like the villain in this movie. I think this is a really good comic book movie villain.
Stryker's a good villain.
Stryker was fantastic. Like, he was bad from the word go, and even though he's just a human, like, clever enough to stay ahead of Professor Xavier, that takes some doing.
Oh, yeah.
That takes some doing. So the fact that he stayed ahead of Professor Xavier, was able to manipulate Magneto.
Also dope.
That's pretty good. If that's you get, like, if those are your two wins, that's fantastic. I loved the teasing of Wolverine's origin in this movie, how they really just gave you a little nibbles, and slowly unwrapped it as the movie went on, and the flashback scenes were pretty strong. So I enjoyed the heck out of that. I liked how they continued to lean into the amnesia that he's experiencing, where he can't recall his origin, and yet he gets those flashes where it bothers him, right? Like it bugs the heck out of him. He needs to know, and so that was a good tie-in with Stryker, and Stryker's uniquely motivated.
Yep.
Son's a mutant, doesn't care for it, and so
he's a racist.
He's a mutant racist.
Which is, I wish they would have leaned into the Puritan part of it a little bit more, because Puritans was the group that was against all mutants. Like they are basically the KKK of the mutant world. Never good if that's who you are. No.
Not good if that's who you're being compared to.
And what I like about First Class is they have the Sentinels, and the Sentinels are sweet. So which is weird tie-in for me, but they're sorry.
Yeah, pretty well done though, just in terms of the villain. Like I think that's tough to do, especially after they leaned into Magneto as the primary villain in the first X-Men movie.
And they kept him around.
Right. Didn't kill him.
Thank God.
Didn't kill him.
We talked about this last episode.
Yep. Don't kill him.
Don't kill him.
Here's the thing. The X-Men movies actually did that well.
Oh, yeah.
With the first and second movies. And then the third one happened.
Well, okay. So the second one, too, which makes me curious, is... Okay, you only have Mystique left on your side? Like, she's the only one working to get you out of there?
Yep.
Although, I guess I don't remember who lived and who died in the first one. Did Toad live?
Toad died.
Toad did die?
Toad
That's sad.
died.
Toad's cool.
Yep.
Who is also the actor for Darth Maul.
Right.
But continue,
right.
Which is a crazy, weird transition, but
yeah.
Who else did he have? Oh, he had Sabretooth?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he had I didn't like that Sabretooth.
I liked Sabretooth.
The First Class Sabretooth was good.
Wait, what, you mean Origins?
X-Men Origins. Wolverine was really good.
That was a legit.
And they built up that relationship with Logan, so that was really good.
Yeah, that was really solid. So enjoyed that quite a bit as well. But yeah, this Sabretooth was just a little too dumbed down in the first X-Men movie. It was just a lot of growling, snarling, and that's it. That's all you got. So
for sure,
hard to get too on board with that. But there was such opportunity here. But
for sure.
Good movie in its own right. Solid. Wish they would have... Let's think about this. Alternate history. They pull off X-Men 3. Like, it's legitimately good. Where are we now? If they had done that, they could have been the first MCU.
Well, absolutely. I think you would have seen more break-offs of different X-Men teams.
Of course.
I think you would have seen... I'm trying to think of all the X-Men movies or all the X-Men teams because there's so many. But I feel like we would have had a X Factor movie probably by now with Multiple Man.
You still could have done the prequel stuff as far as First Class goes.
Like, for sure. And that was First Class was a great movie.
Agreed.
And then we probably would have had an X-Force by now.
Yeah.
We may have gotten a Deadpool movie sooner. Don't even get me started on that. Oof. There's so many teams. You could have done so much.
It's such a fascinating thing to look back on even now, and it'll continue just as more time passes to be that much more just engaging to look back and go, man, what could have been? What could have been?
Okay.
Just incredible.
So I'm going to throw this at you, okay? So you're in charge of the next X-Men movie, okay? You only get 5 X-Men characters to be your focus of the team. Who are you taking?
Great question. Well, Nightcrawler.
That is on mine. That's on my list.
Nightcrawler's got to be in. Heroes and villains.
But he has to have his sword.
Yes.
Okay.
Why would you not give Nightcrawler a sword?
Well, I'm just saying.
You just have to.
They never did. He has to have his swashbuckling sword.
Yeah.
Emphasis on swashbuckling.
Mm-hmm. Straight up Buccaneer.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nightcrawler.
I would say
not Mystique. Like there's been enough Mystique.
So
need a break.
Let's see.
Need a break. Friend to friend. Cool character. Amazing ability.
I'd say
ready for something different.
I'd say villains are on the table.
Yeah.
Because so many X-Men villains have been a part of the team at some point or another.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say, yeah, it's free game. But we'll say they have to be a mutant.
Fair enough.
So if it's like a Sentinel, you can't have like a...
Right. That doesn't really count.
Although there is a... I think there is one, but that's besides the point.
I like the idea of Emma Frost as a villain.
Yep.
Because she'd be a really formidable villain. Mm-hmm. So I like her in that role. It's hard to get away from Wolverine. Like, I'm trying to be creative enough to say somebody other than Wolverine, but yeah, I can't.
No.
I can't. Wolverine, Beast. Beast is a really enjoyable character. I love the blend of the brains and the brute force. I'm trying to think of another villain that I would like to see in there. Man.
Oh, so you're doing like a mix of heroes and villains.
Yeah. Okay, I've got 3 heroes. We got Nightcrawler, Wolverine, Beast, Emma Frost as a villain, and who would I want her to pair up with?
And I'd say Wolverine is more of an anti-hero. You could argue that.
Yeah. I'm going for balance here and characters that I personally find really intriguing and really interesting. Man, I can't come up with a 5th that would be the right villain. I mean, Magneto's really hard to get too much of.
Yeah.
Really hard to get too much of. So here's what I wish. I wish that somewhere in these movies, Magneto and Emma Frost would have paired up as dual villains.
Okay.
Like it sort of, kind of, but not really happened in First Class. Like it was there.
She is like the Hellfire Club leader for a portion of time. So.
Yeah. So that's what I would like to. You know what I'll say? I'll say Sabretooth.
Okay.
I'll say Sabretooth.
So you got Sabretooth and Wolverine.
Yep.
You got a real scrappy duo there.
Absolutely. I enjoyed, for as much as X-Men Origins Wolverine was not good, I enjoyed Sabretooth. Yeah. I enjoyed the character of Sabretooth. Still enjoyed the character of Wolverine in that movie.
I love the helicopter scene where he takes down that helicopter.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh my gosh.
All right, so...
Cool guys don't look at
So
explosions.
your team, Emma Frost, Sabretooth, Wolverine, Beast, and Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would take Nightcrawler.
Sure.
Iceman. Iceman's probably my favorite X-Men.
Yeah.
It's hard. Okay. Is Deadpool a mutant?
Sure. Go with it.
I'm going with Deadpool.
Go with it.
Because I have to. That's my other dude.
Yep.
And then we'll put Storm in there because she's just a powerhouse. And then Hope Summers.
Hope Summers. I'm really proud of us for not saying Cyclops. Probably my least favorite X-Man.
I'm not a big fan of Cyclops.
No.
And Jean Grey's too OP for me. Hope Summers, like, she can use any 4 of their powers, so I mean, it's sick.
Sure.
I'm gonna go with that.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm just pleased we did not say Cyclops. We don't need Cyclops.
Wow, I shoot optic beams. By the way, they aren't even lasers; they just are concussive. So don't let that confuse you because they look like laser beams, but they're concussive. So if you get hit by it, it's like getting hit by a giant beanbag. Am I wrong?
Like, what a letdown. I can shoot lasers out of my eyes. Time out. But no, it's like a pillow. It's a laser pillow.
You're hitting me with a baseball bat from far away.
If that.
I don't actually know how strong it is.
How much cooler would it be if it legitimately cut through things? Let's settle in on that for just a minute. How in the heck in X-Men, not First Class, in Apocalypse, where they reintroduce Cyclops.
Good actor for that, by the way.
Agreed. He's like tearing up trees with his eye lasers, his concussive blasts. But then he hits an individual, and it's just a pillow fight. What?
I don't know.
What? Like, why not just have him cut people? You shreds. Like, that'd be so incredible. All of a sudden, Cyclops goes from here where it's just like,
you know how devastating that would be.
Yeah, it's like, whoa.
I think he'd blind himself. I think you'd get to that point where you cut enough people up and you'd be like, I can't do this anymore.
How much more respect would Wolverine have for Cyclops if that's what he could do? If he could legitimately cut through folks.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, all of a sudden...
He just looks at Wolverine.
All of a sudden, they're best friends. Yeah. Like, they're best buds.
He looks at Wolverine, he cuts Wolverine's arm off with a blast. He's like, all right.
Right. He's like, we're in. Like,
or like the fact that he could just be like this and light his cigar. You know how that would be that would be a broing out scene right there.
That's what we need. We need a Wolverine Cyclops buddy movie.
They hate each other. Movie. It would actually be a lot like
great,
dude. It would actually be a lot like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I honestly think so.
I want to get credit for this when the people at Marvel actually do this, because this is a great idea. This is fantastic. It's
fantastic. I do like that idea.
Oh, proud of us. That's great.
It's kind of it's got that like. It's got that Falcon Winter Soldier vibe.
It really should.
Yeah.
It really should. You know what? There's a hint of that in X2 with James Marsden and Hugh Jackman. But
and they're supposed to have that.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that the first movie where they're like, "How do I know it's you?" And he's like, "You're a dick." And he's like, "Yep, it's you." I think that's the first one. It might be the second one, actually.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
You know, that's a good point. That is one of my favorite dynamics of the first two movies.
And this is before Cyclops is known as like a Magneto-esque character.
And they just needed to really lean into that. I would watch a Wolverine Cyclops movie for that.
Yeah.
That'd be great. That'd be excellent.
For sure.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right, let's move on to the next great thing.
What
do we got on that's our past? What do we got on the current slate, my friend?
Yeah, so we're going to talk King in Black. So Tanner, if you're listening, this is for you because you've been asking about it for like a long time.
You're welcome, Tanner.
And this started way back in November, and it just ended recently. I don't know when it ended.
Okay.
I have lots of notes, okay? So you're going to have to keep up with me. And I'm going to try to go through what is important and what is not. So I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be more of a pitch for you guys to read it than it is to be like, ooh, what happened next? So if you don't want spoilers, I'd stop about halfway through and then just skip over to the end. So basically, God of Symbiotes invades Earth. Okay?
Is that bad?
He is...
I need some clarification.
Yes,
that sounds bad, is it?
He is the king of... He's called the King in Black. Okay, which is
hence
why
the title.
Yes, hence the title.
Sure.
His main weapon is called the Necro Sword, which, if you remember correctly, was wielded by Gore the God Butcher. For all you Thor fans,
absolutely. We got to talk about that.
Which that sword was used by Gore the God Butcher to butcher gods.
Pretty effective.
So it's basically a symbiotic sword. Fun fact. So he invades Earth with a bunch of like symbiote dragons. All right, and. How's
that not a good idea?
By the way, he comes with like 5 Celestials himself who he's killed.
Huh.
Which, by the way, for those of you who don't know, in Eternals they'll probably touch on it. They were like the creators of the universe, and he killed like 5. And he's got them in his army. So
he's got like undead creators of the universe on his side.
So he's pretty badass.
Wow.
And to also step up, he's the first being born in darkness. So that's his he's right there during creation, pretty much. He's been around for a very long time. Immediately, the heroes are talking about, so where are the Infinity Stones at?
Sure.
Where's the Ultimate Nullifier at? And where is the Cosmic Cube? Because we're screwed otherwise. So, and they couldn't get...
Necro Sword is tough.
They didn't get their hands on anything. But they were going to try. So,
how did he get the Necro Sword? Because Gore had it for a while.
He forged it.
Okay.
He created the Necro Sword, and he was using it. I don't know how he lost it, and for Gore to obtain it, and Loki obtains it at some point in like the future Thor, but that's for another day. So where are we at here?
Nice.
So. This isn't the first issue. They're like, okay, we're going to send in the big guns because clearly this ain't working. Sentry comes in. Boom. And Sentry is basically Marvel's Superman, but crazy.
Right.
Is that like a good definition?
That's a good explanation of his power set and the catch that comes with it. He's nuts.
Yeah. So he and at this point he's like perfect Sentry because he like has claimed his darkness, which is called the Void, which is like his number 1 like villain.
Right.
So he's like 1. So he's like at his all-time peak right now.
Okay.
And
peak Sentry, that's pretty tough.
And Gore rips him in half, kills him, He's dead.
Wait, Gore rips him in half?
No, sorry. No.
I thought Gore was coming back. I was going to freak out.
No, Null rips him in half.
Huh.
And he's like, you're dead now.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was like Sentry was giving him a good fight for a little bit, and then boom, ripped him in half dead.
And then he got bored and just ripped him in half.
Yep,
But for a little context here, I'm reminded that Sentry, okay, the World War Hulk storyline, Hulk gets shot to the moon and then beyond by the Illuminati, comes back pissed at the peak of his powers, and Sentry helps take him down.
Yep.
And by helps, that's a little bit of a... He does.
Yeah.
Like, he does. So if Sentry can take down peak Hulk, and then this SOB is just like, snap, done.
Yep. Rips him in half.
Woo.
So, he's trying to get Eddie's son. Okay? Because Eddie Brock has a son.
Okay.
And pretty much he is the successor to Null. So Noah wants Dylan because he's the successor, from what I understand. So, let's see here.
Fascinating.
And then I think it's got to be the first issue or something, and then Eddie dies.
Ouch.
He kills Eddie. So Eddie's dead in like the first or second issue. Yeah. So he's killing everybody. I mean, he gets... In the palm of his hands, right off the get-go, he gets Storm, Captain America, Cyclops, The Thing, etc. So he's got a bunch of heroes under his control now. The symbiotes that are under his power have basically taken over.
Okay.
So...
Well, just killing fools.
Yeah.
I mean, no mercy. We're going down.
Then they go into basically like the hive mind, because that's how it is. Like, Noel is the center of the hive mind for all the symbiotes. And Eddie is essentially a codex, which is, they use that a lot. So basically his data gets put into the... So he's alive in the hive mind, but he's actually dead in real life.
Right.
And then, lo and behold, they run into Flash Thompson, who was dead at this time. And he's currently... Well, he was Agent Anti-Venom before he died. Okay? So those two are working together, try to help fight the world, whatever. Yep. Yada, yada, yada.
Yep.
So, yeah. While this is going on, you have Thor. Thor comes down, starts fighting Null, and it's... let me see if there's anybody else. I thought there was another thing here.
Classic Thor swooping in.
Yeah, okay, so Thor puts up probably the best fight against Null before, like, he gets beat.
Does he get ripped in half?
No. No. You also have to remember he's been upgraded to a Herald of Galactus, so he's OP as shit.
Sure.
At this time.
Sure.
And he is the king of Asgard currently as well. So Thor...
Pretty good resume.
Thor is, like, up there right now.
Yeah, pretty strong resume.
Yes.
Looking good.
So he's fighting, yada, yada, yada. Where am I at here? So it's with Eddie's dead body. It's Dylan, Peter. Somehow Spidey is still alive in this. And then Mr. Fantastic and Tony Stark. And he figures out a way to hijack a Sentinel. Or not a Sentinel. He figures out how to hijack a symbiote. So he gets like some symbiotic armor that he rocks throughout the rest of it. Let's see.
Why not?
Yep. And then Dylan, like, Peter has this emotional speech with Dylan, and he's like, just because you can doesn't mean you have to. You're like 10 years old, like, he's like, I've been in your shoes, like, you don't have to do this. And he's just like, I wanna hurt something. I'm like, okay, you're definitely Eddie's kid. So he goes out there and he actually starts freeing the heroes from the symbiotes. So Dylan's kind of a badass. Nice. And then all the heroes are surrounding him, protecting him. At this point? I don't know how old he is, but he's a kid, 10, 12.
He's a youth.
Yes, he's a youth. Youths. So let's see here. So they free him, yada yada. This is Flash's entrance back into the world.
There we go.
He takes over a symbiote dragon and becomes a dragon for a little bit. And he's just flying around. I'm great at storytelling, by the way, if you can tell.
Why not get turned into a dragon?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. He gets turned into a dragon, and then when Eddie comes back, he's just giant.
Yeah.
And then so Flash comes back and takes his body back, and then at this time, they find out that there's always been a counter to Null. Like there's the god of darkness and the god of light, and it turns out that is Captain Universe. The Captain Universe powers, or the you know what I'm talking about?
Not yet.
It's like a bunch of cosmic power.
It's got Sentry in my mind.
Look up Captain Universe.
Let's do it
for me. So the Captain Universe chooses Eddie, okay, and pretty much turns you into a badass. Yes, Captain Universe. That is what I thought. All right.
Nice.
So, yada yada yada. Where am I at? Yeah. So Venom becomes Captain Universe, and the Silver Surfer is the one who brought Captain Universe back to Earth because he's like, okay, this is the only way we save it.
Always in there.
All right.
Bless him.
And so the Silver Surfer's fighting Null for a little bit.
Yeah.
He turns his surfboard into a sword, which I didn't even know he could do. Did you know he could do that?
No, but that's awesome.
It's badass.
Does it just change its shape?
Yeah, it turned into a sword.
He turned his like a sheath and he pulls a sword out of it.
Dude, it's a board.
Either one, it's good.
It is a board sword. It is a board sword. It's sick.
It's great.
So yes, he starts fighting Null, and then Eddie comes back, and he's Captain Universe with the Venom symbiote, pretty much.
Nice.
And then he's like, you know what? I need a sick weapon. So he takes Mjolnir, and he takes the board sword, and combines them into one, into a giant battle axe, and he just starts tearing everything apart, like cutting everything apart. Nothing can stand in his way, and then it ends with to like live up to the strength of this battle axe, it cuts the head off of a Celestial.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. And then he basically takes Null. He's like, all right, here's the sun. Incinerates him. And that's how Null dies. Okay? And then, at the end of the story, Venom becomes the new King in Black. So Eddie is now the host mind of the host hive.
Okay.
So he's basically a god.
Wow.
Yes. Wow. So we have a new setup for Venom.
Edward.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bonus tidbits. Okay.
Let's hear 'em.
Where are we at? All right. So the Thunderbolts get involved, and they're employed by Kingpin and led by Taskmaster.
Nice.
And their whole idea is to find Sentry's ass and then blow it up because that's the best thing they got. I don't know what happens at the end. I forgot.
Incredible. Incredible.
Cletus Cassidy is not the only insane person in his bloodline. Like his ancestor is probably thought to be the first serial killer, and his
the first serial killer.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like from the 1800s, where
okay.
His name is Cortland, of course, and he becomes Plague, which is a dope name. But he just kills, like he absorbs your life force and just to become stronger. So that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Iron Man Jack's a Sentinel, or not? Oh, that's why I said Sentinel twice, because I wrote Sentinel like
you got it.
Idiot.
Okay. You got it.
So let's see here. Doctor Strange is the god of magic at one point in the fight, which is insane to me. Nice. Oh yeah, this is a highlight for some reason. So apparently, Doctor Doom and Iron Man team up to fight symbiote Santa, and they save Santa Claus.
Oh.
I just wrote that in there because I thought that was hilarious. Those are from tie-in issues.
Surely that was only because
it was
that
around
issue was
Christmas.
coming out
I'm
around
sure.
Christmas.
Yes.
Okay. Not sure
I'm
it's forgiven,
to.
but at least it's understood.
I think that's pretty much it. Those are like the highlights in it.
Wow.
So
wow.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see where Eddie goes from here and what they do with the symbiotes. Because I mean, if he's the god of them all,
Eddie just got leveled up, huge.
Yes.
Huge for Eddie.
What are your thoughts?
That's
Is that
crazy.
something you'd read?
That's crazy. I would read it. I'm sure that I would read it and have so many questions. I'd be going, wait, what? What? But I like the idea of the enormity of the characters in the stories, where it's not a ground level conflict, it's a God level conflict.
Yes.
I love that. And partially because I'm fresh off of rereading Thor and Gore, the God Butcher, and that story is so good. So good.
Sure.
And so I'm in that kind of a mood. Kind of depends what kind of mood I'm in. Like, do I want ground level, or do I want cosmic, huge? I'm in the huge.
But I love how like his first target's Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, Eddie's son.
Yeah.
Just is like the chosen one.
Yeah.
Like.
So I could get into that very easily. It's probably sounds like one of those reads where I would read it. Like I said, I have a lot of questions, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because then it just means I got to read more. Yep. And so then you start diving into little backstories and histories. Love that the Necro Sword ties in to Null. Like, that's great. And
I'm pretty sure Donny Cates wrote that too. And Donny Cates is known for his stuff being really good. So, like his Venom run, and I believe he's doing the Thor run currently too right now. I think he took over after Jason Aaron Taylor.
Okay.
So, yes. So, the reason he's, like, Thor's super strong right now, Donny Cates.
There you go. You're correct. Donny Cates.
Yes.
Good for that guy.
So, and then what's also interesting, he, like, freed all the symbiotes. So, they're, like, all on their own now. Like, yes, they're connected to his hive mind, but, like, they can do whatever the hell they want.
Sure.
So, I think it sets up for some interesting things.
Yeah.
We'll see. I think he got really well known for his Venom run. Sure. I think he got known for his Venom run.
He's done work on Venom, Thanos, Doctor Strange, and Thor.
I think his Thanos run was good too.
So that's probably, that just seems to be his sweet spot, right? The huge, the cosmic, the enormous.
Yeah.
That's great. Very cool. No, that's really cool. I'll have to check that one out.
For sure.
That's exciting. That's great. What did the art look like to you? Like, were you pleased with it from what you saw?
Yeah, from what I saw, it's pretty.
Yeah.
Like, you were clicking through some of the pictures.
Yes.
There was first of all, Null is one of the most badass looking villains I've seen in a while. Like, for new villains, like he was just introduced like 3 years ago, and he like looks like the god, like the harbinger of death. Like, you look at him, you're like, okay, he's gonna kill me, like instantly. Like, I mean, that's an epic picture right there.
That's fantastic.
There's another good one. Like, they just
Stegman, okay.
Right there. That's his entrance. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got the Necro Sword.
Yep.
Insane.
That's awesome.
Yes. So the art is really fitting for the story.
Yep.
I highly recommend giving it a read. I'm probably going to pick it up when it comes out in a full series, because that's how I prefer to read. That's how I prefer to read.
Either way.
So I like to have the whole story.
Heck yeah, that's great. Good stuff, Riles.
Oh,
Thanks for diving into that, man.
And there's the picture of all the symbiotes.
Yeah, that looks really worthwhile. Very cool.
So,
what are your thoughts on like how much they've expanded on the symbiotes? Like, they've gone from Venom, of course, is the original, and then they introduced Carnage, and now you have just a host of symbiotes.
I'm a sucker for it.
Yeah?
To be honest.
Yeah?
For instance, I always loved Symbiote Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
That was when he like got a really drastic costume change for the first time.
Right, the black suit.
Yep, and the fact that it just enhances your abilities from if you have any.
Right.
Otherwise, even then it enhances a lot. The fact that, like, I don't know, if you ever see somebody else rocking the Venom suit, it's sick to see the take of what that character looks like in the Venom suit.
Yep.
And it's always interesting. What's nice about Venom is, like, yeah, sure, you can pass the mantle on from like a different Captain America, and it's not Steve Rogers. With the Venom symbiote, it's like it really feels different, because you had Eddie Brock, who was a bad guy for a while, turned anti-hero.
Yep.
Loses it to Matt Gargan, who was Scorpion for a while, and then he took the Venom symbiote.
Sure.
And his symbiote suit was really cool, but he had to get rid of it because it was too bloodthirsty and it was driving him mad. And then I think probably you could argue the better host for Venom was Flash Thompson. Agent Venom is sick. They turn him into a soldier. And so he's using grenades and guns and everything along with the suit, which is amazing. And then...
are they symbiote grenades? Or are they like real live?
Live grenades. And then...
that's great.
On top of that, too, like... I'm trying to remember. Oh, yeah, he goes with Guardians of the Galaxy for a while and gets, like, fully upgraded.
Yep.
So, I mean, now Venom can fly. And he learns from every other host that he's been on. So I like it a lot.
That's cool.
And then you have all the other different symbiotes now. Like I think Toxin symbiote's probably the best looking symbiote in my opinion.
Okay.
Outside of I love the original anti-Venom suit too. That one's a good one. But like outside of that, I mean, it's always cool to see somebody else rocking a symbiote suit.
You know, that'd be a good. I would enjoy that. Like drop Venom into the current Guardians of the Galaxy cast in the MCU. Just plop him in there.
Yeah, why not?
Plop him in.
And like I said,
that'd be great.
I love Flash as Agent Venom.
Yep.
So
yeah. That's great.
Like I said, that's just an absolute different take on the character, and it's still Venom. Like Venom's cool, but
same dude,
now he's a
so
soldier.
much cooler. That's great. Sweet. So let's segue from there into what's this? A Venom trailer?
Yeah, we're very Venom centric today, which I love. I love it.
Wow.
Yeah, the trailer looked amazing. I'm excited.
So Venom, Let There Be Carnage, a not at all subtle indication that Carnage is in the movie.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Which we are finally getting.
Yeah. What'd you think seeing that puppy?
Okay, so I would say after the trailer, I'm more sold on Woody Harrelson being Carnage. I was a little skeptic at first.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't like him as a crazy person. It's just, I don't know. There is, you want to know who I actually would have preferred?
I do, yeah.
Cameron Monaghan. He played the Joker in Gotham, in the Gotham TV show.
Okay.
He's also in Shameless. But his portrayal of the Joker on that show, phenomenal. Like he does crazy really well, and he's a ginger, like he's a natural ginge. Yeah, he was in. I forgot he was in that too. But Cameron Monaghan, like he can do crazy. Yep. That would honestly, I would hope like if for some reason Woody Harrelson doesn't return as Carnage and they bring Carnage in the MCU, I would like Cameron Monaghan to do it.
Fascinating.
So. I could not think of who I wanted earlier, and then it just came to me.
On your part, I support the casting choice on look alone.
Yes,
like that. That dude's got some crazy.
When we're done with this, you look up him as the Joker, and you hear his crazy laugh. It's phenomenal.
I've seen the picture.
Phenomenal.
But that's it. I just never watched Gotham, the show.
I watched it about halfway through, and then I never picked it back up.
Sure.
It was cool to see all the different, nods, because it was like the origin stories for all the Batman villains, so that was cool.
I like that. That's good.
Back to Venom.
Right.
So, trailer, what I liked, right?
Yeah. So you're in on Woody Harrelson.
I am.
Yep.
I think he had some good dialogue. That's my main concern, because sometimes the dialogue in the first one was a little choppy.
Yeah.
Like, you could have cut the entire turd in the wind line, and I would have been okay. I will rip you limb from limb, and then you're going to float like a turd in the wind. Okay, that's a weird follow-up to telling somebody you're going to rip them limb from limb. Okay? But that's a whole nother point. I love Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock.
Yeah.
I love their relationship, Venom, and it shows that their relationship's grown, so I love that. Like when he's making him waffles in like the intro. He just makes the house a mess, and it's just gross.
It's just brutal.
Yeah.
Just brutal.
So
is that Tom Hardy doing the voice of Venom?
Yes.
By the way? Okay.
Like, he's taught, like, I think he records the lines and then listens to them when he's going through.
Right.
So he can, like, talk to himself.
Okay.
In a sense.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun.
Like I said, he does a great job of acting like a human who's possessed by an alien.
Not all of us can do that.
Exactly. So, my biggest hope, have they announced the rating for it yet?
The first one was R-rated, wasn't it? Or no?
I can't remember. I think it,
oh, I'm sorry, no.
PG-13. I knew they were trying to decide. I think that was partially why the dialogue was rough, because they couldn't decide if they wanted to go PG-13 or R. I want them to go R on this one, and I think they're going to go PG-13, but I want them to go R because for me, Carnage cannot be PG-13.
He's such a freaking.
I need Carnage to kill 1,000 people. I want a death count in the corner of the screen of Cletus killing people, and I want it to hit 1,000 because he has no regard for human life.
Right.
So it would be just amazing if, like, he's just walking down the street as Carnage, sees a dude, stabs him through the chest, just keeps walking. Sees another dude, chops their head off, keeps walking. Because that's how natural that should be. Which sounds insane that I want all that violence, but I'm being honest.
We'll ask questions later.
Yes.
We're just going to go for the entertainment value now.
But yeah, for me, Carnage needs to be rated R. It's like... There's just some characters that have to be R. Like, for me, I feel like if they ever make a Punisher movie, it needs to be R. I'm borderline. I want them to make that Blade movie rated R. It's not for swearing. It's not for anything. It's just for violence. You need to let them go with those characters because those are violent characters.
Well, even like the Blade movies are good examples. Like, it's freaking vampires. Like those movies. Listen, they're at varying qualities. Like, none of them are you going to watch and go, wow, one of the best movies I've seen.
Yeah.
No. But they're effective because of just how nasty those vampires are.
Oh, for sure.
Whew,
and
they are gross. They're nasty, and it's hard to imagine it...
PG-13?
Yeah.
Dialed back?
Yeah, hard to imagine it's being that effective.
It needs to be bloody. Blood is essential for a vampire movie. And let Blade kill, that's his whole thing.
Here's what I know. I know that the MCU, like Feige has said they're going to do some R-rated movies. Yes. I know that this, from what we know today, isn't in the direct vein of the MCU.
Correct.
But at the same time, they drop the whole, in association with Marvel, screen on this trailer, as if to suggest that there's some kind of a relationship here. They do the tease of Cassidy squishing a spider.
Yep.
I wonder if that's going to hold them into that PG-13 lane.
I know. That's
just my expectation.
Guys, you can have Peter Parker in a rated R movie.
But what a hard PG-13 this is, because just looking at the character of Venom, that's intense. That's pretty freaky. The same people, kids that are going to watch your MCU movie at age 12 or 13.
Oh, yeah. That would scare the crap out of me.
That'd be a bit much.
Yeah.
So, to your point, and probably just lean into it and go, this is R-rated. This is tough.
And I have so much faith in it because it is directed by Andy Serkis, so it should be good.
I saw that. That's hilarious.
And he's like the CGI king. CGI king, Andy Serkis.
What a guy.
I can't remember. Did he direct the first one?
No.
No, he did not.
No, he did not.
Who directed the first one?
He did not. A fellow by the name of Ruben Fleischer.
I don't even know who that is.
Sorry, Ruben.
But I do. I have faith in it with Andy Serkis. Not that the other guy did a bad job, because I really like the first movie.
Yep.
I really do. So, I don't know. Like I said, I'm a sucker for Venom, so...
Which is great.
He's probably my second favorite anti-hero.
Yeah.
After Deadpool.
I will... Yeah, I'm fascinated, so I still need to watch the first Venom movie. Part of the reason why I haven't is because I honestly didn't think it would get this far, where it's like, oh, we've got a second movie. It's like,
yep. And it really nails the journalistic take of Eddie Brock too.
Yeah.
Because he's like an independent reporter in a way in the first one, where, and he's basically investigating. He's investigating some evil corporation that comes up in the comics. I don't think it's Roxxon. Maybe Alchemax. I don't know.
Sure.
But it's one of those weird science. It's on the level of Oscorp, but it's not Oscorp.
Yeah. I like the cast. I think Woody Harrelson's a great choice.
I do too. I think there's going to be some really good scenes.
Yeah, your boy Cameron would be a solid choice as well. Tom Hardy's great. Naomi Harris, she's solid. They're saying at this point she's going to be Shriek. Okay, we'll see.
Rumored. Toxin is rumored for it. So, which is, yes. It'll be interesting to see if we see Carnage, like if Carnage comes straight out of Venom, like a birth, or like in the comics where he kind of splits off and like Carnage just goes. I'm curious to see how that's going to work out. And then I'm assuming the end teaser will be Toxin coming out of Carnage, would be my guess.
Yep.
I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Yeah, I'm really curious. I need to watch the first one just to get some excitement flowing. I'm not excited. I'm curious. That is my predominant response right now. Is okay. I'm intrigued. I'm curious. Show me what we got here, and let's see. I love Tom Hardy.
Yeah,
he's fantastic. So, in a lot of respects, I should love this. So I just need to watch the first one and see what happens.
You know what? Now that I do remember, like there was more than one symbiote that was on Earth. I think he had 3 or 4 more still captured. Okay. So that's probably where Shriek would come into play.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of what else. Oh yeah, and then Venom does bite a dude's head off in the first one. And somehow it's still PG-13.
Somehow it's PG-13.
Like bites it clean off and then throws the body like it's nothing. See, so that's why I'm hoping they just let it be R. I want it to be R so bad. Just because I just want it to be violent. I want violence.
I think you're going to get it.
I
do.
So.
I know you're skeptical right now, but I think you're going to get it. That kind of a character with Carnage. I mean, Venom by himself probably should be an R-rated character, but then you include Carnage. He's so nasty. He's so evil.
I love it.
So twisted.
He should be on the scale for the MCU of like DC's Joker, where he's just insane. He does whatever he wants just because it's fun. And it looks like they're gonna go for the actual like classic Carnage look, which is great. You know, I was partially scared they'd go for like a more bulkier look like Venom.
Sure.
Because Riot was kind of like a mix in body size of Venom and Carnage, like he's in the middle, I'd say.
Okay.
But that, and I hope they really invest in Carnage with the tendrils and the battle axe hands, because that's Carnage's thing, is the weapons for hands, and Venom's not really known for that as much. But it'd be cool to see some web slinging, but that's not gonna happen. It'll probably be a lot of tendrils.
A lot of salamander action.
A lot of biting each other. Which I hope they just have like a bite off.
Insane. Now, to help me understand, did they introduce that character? Sorry, now I'm blanking on Cletus. It is Cletus Cassidy.
Yep.
Did they introduce that character in the first Venom movie?
He was the teaser trailer.
Okay.
And I'm assuming he was in Ravencroft, which is the insane asylum.
Yep.
And it was because he like asked for Eddie specifically, and I can't remember why. Because basically Eddie's come back. In the first movie, he investigates that corporation, finds out it's evil from the head up.
Yep.
And then that's his whole thing. He's trying to expose them for who they are. And then he basically essentially takes that place down, gives it to somebody, and then he basically gets his career back. Because he loses his career, gets the Venom symbiote, saves his career. And then, so now they ask for... Because he's an investigative reporter in this.
Right.
So, like, that was his whole thing. And then, I think Cletus calls him into the insane asylum and, like, he's like, I heard you want to talk to me, and there's like blood on Cletus's fingers, and he's like rubbing the bars, and he's crazy, and he has this like red wig on because that was planned, and then
Weird.
That's the only part I have problem with. You can totally tell it's a wig. Like if you watch that teaser, you can tell obvious. So much it's a wig.
It's like in movie scenes where they need to have a baby and they're like, nah, we don't really want a live baby. We're just gonna use a doll. And it's like, guys.
And you're like, you know what? I can tell it's a
your
doll.
budget is millions of dollars. Yeah, that's fascinating. I'm fascinated to see what comes of this, and then along with it, like you would think at this point, like the MCU, the Disney machine has become so huge. You would think that at this point, these offshoots like the Venom movies, the Morbius movie,
which I'm not excited for, but
who is?
Yeah.
Who is?
It's
the 12 Jared Leto fans in the world.
Sony has not.
You would think these would be done.
Sony doesn't have enough sway for me to be like, okay, we need to go see Morbius. They're not on that level.
No.
If Marvel was doing it, like MCU, I'd be like, all right, what's their plan? Morbius would have been such a cooler character to introduce with Blade.
Yeah.
Because he works with Blade.
Just
or fights against Blade.
Having a hard time understanding why these studios are hanging on to these properties when it's like, sell them.
But
because Disney will pay you.
Or just partner up with them, which I think that's what it's coming down to. I think Sony's just going to partner up with Marvel, be like, you know what do you guys want?
Yeah.
And then they'll eventually buy them.
Right.
Like Spider-Man will come home at some point.
Sure.
He's already involved in all the Disney parks. It's pretty much sort of set in stone. But like also so like in the character design for this movie, I thought, you know what, it'd be so weird if Venom doesn't have the spider on his chest.
Yep.
And I watched that movie and I was like, you know what?
Didn't really matter.
I'm okay with it. Yeah. I'm really okay with it. It would have been cool, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
So, but I would like to, and I'm going to go back to saying it again, No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness are the keys here. This is literally...
Think they'll do it?
Oh, I think they will. Dude, you know how I would love Tom Hardy working with Tom Holland. Acquire another Tom, Marvel. We need this. They'd be so cool side by side.
Give us the Toms. Give us the Toms.
I also hope like I hope Tom Hardy gets jacked for this movie. Like Bane level jacked. Because Eddie was always jacked. That'd be sick.
Tom's always got a really solid base level of
I love Tom Hardy.
Beef.
I love Tom Hardy.
He's what a guy. I feel like it's not too difficult for when the time comes and somebody's like, "Hey, Tom, we need you to bulk up a bit." It's like, okay, I think he can do that fairly relatively straightforward.
So as like not as a huge Venom fan as me probably.
Sure.
I'm guessing.
That's fair.
Like what would you want out of this movie?
Carnage has to be nasty. He can't be a watered down bad guy.
That's what I'm saying.
He just does. And I say that not as someone that's like, yeah, give me all the violence that you can. But like that's just who he is. That's just who. I mean, that's what you were saying, and that's fine.
I need it.
But that's what he's got to be. Man, what do I want? Here's what I want. Here's my only expectation for a movie like this. Give me great action.
Yep.
That's it. Like, in a story that's not completely stupid, but when you're an action movie, your action cannot suck. Not only cannot suck, it can't be mediocre. You got to be creative enough, if this is what you're doing, to come up with something that's new, that's impressive, okay? Got to see that. Like, we talked about X-Men 2, to bring this full circle. X2, that Nightcrawler scene. That was so dang creative. So good. The elevator scene with Captain America and Captain America Winter Soldier. Fantastic. Where he's fighting that elevator full of dudes.
And
great.
Also in that, the knife fight.
Yes. Fantastic. To bring it to Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy as Bane in his fight with Batman in The Dark Knight Rises. Great scene. Great scene. So the action is what needs to be crushed in this movie. And that means a lot of screen time for Venom and a lot of screen time for Carnage. A lot. Like, don't wait 2/3 of the way through the movie before we get Carnage.
Yep, I agree.
Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't mess around. Let's get there quickly and let's reap the benefits.
Honestly, if the whole story is if Eddie's just trying to stop Cletus from killing people, I'm okay with that.
Great.
Because that's like his whole thing. Cletus is like, I just want to kill people. Mm-hmm. I do think Tom's girlfriend is going to die in this movie, probably. Just a guess. I'm going to throw that out there.
Sorry.
I think she's going to get stabbed, and then, yeah. Also, it looked like there was going to be a fight scene in a church. Mm-hmm. I'm so excited for that. I hope that's the final fight scene. I hope it's in the church. You know how spooky that is? Oh, I'm excited. I have goosebumps. But and they are going for the horror-esque vibe too for this, so I think we're.
I like that the movie is in the hands of Andy Serkis.
I do too.
I think that's the
great. CGI master himself. This is a guy who has done so much CGI work that
I think
he's one of the best fits for this.
He's such a creative dude that I'm confident that action's going to be solid. I think it's going to be a worthwhile movie. I don't doubt it in that respect. I don't know when we get done watching it how much we're going to go, one of the greatest movies we've ever seen. If we're going to go,
not, but
we're going to go, that was good, okay. But I think it's going to be worth the watch, worth the view.
September can't come sooner. I'm really excited for this movie.
That's great. Were we aware that this one was coming out this year?
I was. Okay. Oh, I was not. Yes. It just got delayed like 13 times.
Right.
Thanks to COVID. Because it was supposed to come out last October. Pretty sure it's supposed to come out October 2020.
Sure.
And then I got pushed back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I wasn't too happy about that.
Oh, that's great.
But we're here.
Good things.
Good
things.
Oh, man.
That's great. Cool. Anything else you want to hit on before we wrap it all up?
I think that's about it.
It's good. A lot of symbiotes.
I know, we had a very Venom-centric episode. Unintentionally mad, right. Because it just... what were we going to talk about originally for future stuff? I don't think we had a plan.
No.
And then that trailer dropped. And we're like, okay,
it's like,
that's what we're talking about.
This is it. Perfect timing.
So, and then, yeah, because we planned...
Thank you, Sony.
We planned King in Black to talk about that for like a month.
Yes.
And we just have not got there.
Listen, Tanner's going to be so grateful.
He better be. I swear to God, if he doesn't watch this, I'm coming for him.
That's fair.
That's a promise.
That's fair. That's great. Oh,
so that was all for you, Tanner. Now you can stop asking me every frickin' week what happened. I swear to you, every week. Hey, so what happened here? I mean, like, dude, I'm not reading it. Can you find out? Yeah, I can find out. You know what? I'll just do a whole section for you.
It's just the Tanner podcast. That's what this is. For Tanner.
Actually, speaking of which, that does remind me because this is something we discussed.
Yes.
So, guys, our email. What is our email? What's our email? Hold on. I have it somewhere in my notes. And I'm also going to delete all of those notes because I never want to look at that again for a while. What's our email? Great. Okay. So, our email is jpnbeans@gmail.com. Email us things you want to hear from us. So if there is a topic you want covered on the show, email it because I mean, we can easily come up with stuff to talk about, but more like if there's something you guys want to know more about and JP and I have never talked about it, like maybe that's something we deep dive.
Yeah, topics, characters, comic storylines, comic stories in particular. I mean, that's
you
great.
Want to know our top 10 favorite heroes, villains, stories. Actually, side note.
Let's hear it.
Have you seen Invincible on Amazon? I heard that's phenomenal. That's an independent comic. It's not Marvel or DC.
Okay.
I shouldn't say it's independent. It is independent, maybe.
I don't think so.
It's supposed to be phenomenal. Like, the show's phenomenal. I would like to actually read... Yeah, J.K. Simmons voices one of the main guys.
Fantastic.
So... J.K. Simmons. But...
That's great.
But yeah, if there's Ninja Turtles, like Star Wars, anything on that pop culture level, we are more than welcome to deep dive into. But yeah, so hit us up in our email.
yeah, let us know if there's something that you'd like to hear more about. We're happy to do that. So that'd be fantastic.
And yeah, and if there's something we have dove on, but maybe something doesn't make fully sense. If something doesn't make all the senses, yes, whatever. I can't talk apparently. Yeah, I mean, we're more than happy to do that.
Absolutely, we'll oblige. That's great.
We like to look at ourselves as an outlet, and we're always open to learning more. So. So that's our email. I'll say it one more time. jpandbeans@gmail.com.
Love it.
So hit us up.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Yep.
Good stuff.
God bless.